Hello, everybody. We are Group 1 and we are doing our research project on Starbucks. I'm just going to give you a little company overview and a brief history of Starbucks. Starbucks Corporation is an American coffee company and coffeehouse chain. Their mission statement is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Starbucks Company opened its first store in Seattle, Washington at Pike Place Market in 1971. They named the company after a character from the book Moby Dick. In 1982, Howard Schultz joined Starbucks, and in 1986, Howard Schultz left Starbucks and opened his own company. He had a lot of success with his own company, so in 1987, he purchased Starbucks and their 6 locations. He renamed the company Starbucks Corporation. In 1992, Starbucks went public, trading on the stock market, and in 1995 they opened their first international location in Japan. And just recently, in April of 2017, Howard Schultz stepped down as CEO and has been replaced by Kevin Johnson. Starbucks currently operates 12,711 company-operated stores, and they have over 12,000 licensed stores. They also have over 254,000 employees worldwide.
All right, we're going to talk about the operational strategy. And the operational strategy we've chosen for Starbucks is inventory management. And the inventory management at Starbucks is linked with the firm supply chain and various facilities. At the cafes, inventory management involves office automation and manual monitoring. In Starbucks supply hubs, automation is more comprehensively used. The company aims to minimize stockout and ensure continuous supply of coffee beans to its cafes. Starbucks addresses this decision area of operations management by focusing on supply adequacy and automation. Some of the strengths that Starbucks has that influences its supply chain, and the first two can kind of link together, and that's its strong financial performance and its strong brand image. I don't know if you've seen Starbucks' new logo, but they don't even utilize their name Starbucks anymore, so they're kind of hinging on their brand image as being pretty strong. These two things give Starbucks they lead to economies of scale, so they help them in some of their inventory purchases, and it also later on we'll describe how the order quantity discount model can come into that as well. They have diversified product line through some of their subsidiaries that they have under the Starbucks name. We'll talk about some of them later, and also their efficiency and reinvestment strategy. Now, this is more at the business level, but we'll talk about it and what it means for inventory. And it's most of the profits that the company makes go straight back into expanding the business. This is evident in the ever-increasing number of locations that Starbucks boasts. It's clear that this corporation has a well-planned growth strategy, which seems to be working well for them. That's important because that ever-increasing number of locations that Starbucks has, that's what helps them utilize that order of quantity discount. Examples that we talked about a little bit earlier, the constant growth in sales and revenue. If you look over the last 5 years, the blue line on this chart here, this is Starbucks, and that's compared to the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. And you can see Starbucks is constantly outperforming the two standards that we have. So they're constantly growing, and also on the other one, they're a market leader. So in the coffee beverage retail business, Starbucks owns roughly 60% of the market. So you can see how these could lead to some of the strengths in their pricing for their inventory. Starbucks has 6 roasting centers where the beans are prepared. This number may seem very small for such an incredibly large company like Starbucks, but this centralized system is very effective. And on average, it takes about 3 hours to roast a batch of Starbucks coffee before it's shipped to every place. These roasting centers make sure every single one of the beans is prepared, manufactured, and packaged in the same way and quickly through a series of well-designed manufacturing processes. So these lead straight into our next point. Because Starbucks has a very efficient inventory and a supply chain, it leads to excellent quality in their products. And the company is also seemingly environmentally friendly, and they're relatively consistent between their locations, which again is a testament to their supply chain and their inventory. As a result, they can afford to charge customers high prices. The quality of their product lines, as we mentioned before, is another strength. You talk about Tazo for the tea or Teavana, and they've also opened up as the K cups have gotten very popular with the opening of the Keurig. Starbucks has released a line called Verismo, and they sell the K cups that are under the Starbucks name. These are important because it opens up several product lines for them to hold inventory on and supply.
About some of Starbucks weaknesses. Starbucks has a lack of overly unique products. They are very dependent upon the coffee bean being their main product. And when you walk into a Starbucks cafe, they do sell ancillary items such as tea cakes, bagels, but primarily the draw is for the coffee. Therefore, Starbucks is dependent on its main input, which is coffee, and this leaves Starbucks dependent on the price of coffee bean as a determinant of its profitability. So Starbucks also charges a premium price for their products as compared to if you were to brew a cup of coffee at home. You can brew that cup of coffee for pennies on the dollar, but to cover overhead and things like that, they charge a premium price. Also, foreign market challenges are a weakness of Starbucks. Name recognition and compared to other competitors in those foreign markets proves as a challenge. As you can see from our example here, we've compared Starbucks with one of its competitors, Dunkin' Donuts, and they charge a higher price per cup as compared to their competitor. Starbucks also has easily imitatable products and very stiff competition. Competitors like, as previously mentioned, Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's McCafe line gives Starbucks competition within the market of coffee. They also have high operating costs for their cafes since coffee is only provided when you are physically present and at a brick and mortar location. This proves to be expensive for Starbucks to operate.
Now,
opportunities that Starbucks has looking into the future. First, there's expansion into international markets, which they already have a global stance around the world, but there's further room for expansion in other parts of the world. Second, making coffee the first sustainable agricultural product. This is one of the initiatives that Starbucks is looking to have a goal to reach this year, but they've not reached yet. So we'll talk a little bit more about this later. Starbucks also has the opportunity to expand its supplier network to expand the range of suppliers from whom it sources. This could also help Starbucks in becoming less sensitive to the price fluctuations of coffee beans. We can also go deeper into this topic on the next slide. Next, we have diversification of product mix, which is also a strength we've already spoken about, but we'll dive deeper into in the next slide. Partnerships and alliances with other firms is also an opportunity looking into the future. To speak more about the supplier expansion as well as sustainability, these two topics are intertwined. Starbucks has already expanded their supplier group by incorporating smaller farmers into their supply chain. This has only been possible by their program called CAFE, which is Coffee and Farmer Equity. It's a homegrown program that Starbucks initiated in 2010. It evaluates recognizes and rewards producers of high quality, sustainability grown coffee. And it hopes to source sustainability grown and processed coffee by evaluating the economic, social, and environmental aspects of coffee production against a defined set of criteria as detailed in their practices and guidelines. And impact studies stated that the CAFE program actually has benefited more than 1 million employed farmers to date on these small farms. This can only be increased if they continue using this program. They'll have a wider variety of these supplier groups and expand even further, therefore increasing their supply chain and the opportunities ahead. This is also linked with sustainability, which they've taken on the Sustainable Coffee Challenge, and this is linked in with the CAFE program, which promotes sustainability, but Starbucks defines sustainability as an economically viable model that addresses the social and economical, environmental needs of the participants in supply chain from farmer to customer. And by deploying this strategy, Starbucks in the future would be able to improve their resilience of their supply chain and ensure long-term supply of high-quality coffees and growing stronger as a company as a whole. Spoken about in their strengths that Starbucks has a wide variety of acquisitions that they've taken on, from tea all the way to their bakery, water, and juice products. In 1998, they acquired Tezo, but recently in 2012, they acquired Tivana tea. In this, they were able to expand their product line, and actually, to date, since the acquisition of Tivana, the tea business has grown 40%. And also in 2012, they also increased their sales by 50% of their food sales by the acquisition of La Boulange. This strategy has been able to gradually expand the product line, but and moving forward, if they continue with this, then they'll be able to expand and have further product lines that create a stronger supply chain as well. There are many threats as well that offer or that occur at Starbucks. One being the competition from low-cost coffee sellers. One is that it's easily imitated. Next, there's variation in coffee bean prices and increases in prices in dairy products. It's a very specific market. So based on the popularity of coffee, consumers could lose interest. It can have a negative impact on the company. Other competition is independent coffee house movement. And lastly, Starbucks faces challenges because of its global supply chain and the possibilities of disruptions in its supply chain brought on by global and local reasons. More deeper into the competition and easy imitation threats that I mentioned earlier, we'll use the example of Dunkin' Donuts. In 2016, Dunkin' Donuts said that they're going after Starbucks' coveted customers by more aggressively featuring expressive drinks like lattes and macchiatos. Dunkin' normally competes on regular coffee, but as marketing increases for specialty coffee, and this could drive some customers away from Starbucks, which could have, Starbucks has higher prices than the competing Dunkin' Donuts coffees. Additionally, in 2017, this year, Dunkin' Donuts is teaming up with Coca-Cola to take on Starbucks in a battle to win the bottled coffee business. And this includes the iced coffee. So their product on iced coffee is very easily imitated. So at a lower price point, this could then hinder the sales of those drinks for Starbucks. This could also create volatility in Starbucks forecasting and possibly create an excess of inventory in their production, depending on how this impact will affect Starbucks. So they also have a threat for price fluctuations controlled by the environment, which also is a factor globally as well. For example, in 2014, there was a drought that was in Brazil and South American countries. This made the price of the coffee bean double because of the impact of the drought. Environmental issues like this are unpredictable and they're a threat that can make prices fluctuate. But there's many other factors like the government and transportation, other types of issues that can make the price fluctuate.
Okay, so a recommendation here. Starbucks Coffee's SWOT analysis shows that the firm has the business strength to remain competitive with other coffee houses. To help remain competitive and keep inventory at a constant level to its stores, Starbucks should employ business solutions that use real-time analytics under one platform. Inventory Solutions uses real-time analytics that take a unified data model of demand, supply chain, and financial data and immediately provides a response in real time. Operating on one platform where data is shared between these local stores and shipment centers is key for fulfillment of inventory application strategy. So we've seen, I mean, obviously Starbucks is a very successful company, but through opportunities and outside threats, there's obviously some perceived, issues or challenges facing them in the future to continue this success going forward. One of the newest things with technological advances that have come around are a bottlenecking effect that happens at the brick and mortar store models, where you have your peak hours where customers will come in, but now with people being able to order from mobile devices and place orders, they're showing up on top of these drive-through orders or customers that come in, and these current store models are not currently set up to handle these extreme surges. Other things that Starbucks faces is they do a lot of seasonal stuff. They do special drinks. There's customers like different stuff and drinks and stuff like that depending on the time of year. So this means constant different inventories coming in and out of the store and rising costs because of that. In the food service industry, your individual ticket price is what's going to drive your business. So with Starbucks being a coffee giant, theirs is mostly predicated on the volume. You want to get as many customers in there as you can, and that way you're going to see your success that way. Whereas in other food service industries where if you're a high-end restaurant where people are actually sitting down, customers can be upsold to other desserts, appetizers, stuff like that, which can drive up ticket prices. Well, at a coffee place like Starbucks, they try to do as much as they can with these their different food and bread sales that go along with your coffee, but this costs more to bring in. It's going to raise your inventory and also slow order times. It's going to cause more of that bottlenecking and traffic backups that you see at the store level. And as we already kind of hit on a little bit with the threats, obviously the giant thing is that America's the biggest importer of coffee, especially Starbucks being this coffee giant. But you can, as you see here, from the map and stuff, coffee is grown not in America, in other parts of the world. So because this main ingredient is going to continuously be imported, they're susceptible to different challenges and stuff like that. That's from stuff like outside forces. We talked about weather, stuff like that. Different shipping costs, and all of this can have can pose challenges to Starbucks' success in the future. And these are our references, and so that's our project. Thank you all for watching.